Today's headlines. President Duterte signs a proclamation terminating peace negotiations with the CPP, NPA, NDF. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency backs plans to return the Philippine National Police to the government's war on illegal drugs. The province of Benguet aims for the Guinness World Record by performing the longest native Bendian line dance. Advocates express hope for lasting peace with a celebration of the Week of Peace in Mindanao. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. President Duterte has terminated the peace talks with the Communist Party of the Philippines, New People's Army, and National Democratic Front. The President signed Proclamation 360, formally declaring the termination of negotiations with the CPP, NPA, NDF. President Duterte likewise directed the Office of the Presidential Advisor on the Peace Process and the Government of the Republic of the Philippines panel to cancel peace talks and meetings. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said, despite efforts to resume peace talks and speed up the signing and implementation of the final peace agreement, the NDF, CPP, NPA had engaged in acts of violence and hostilities. He said the members of the NPA have failed to show their sincerity and commitment in pursuing peaceful negotiations. Despite this, he said the president will continuously pray to find peace for our country. The Philippine National Police urged the public to report to authorities the presence of any threat and extortion activities of the New People's Army. The call for public support came after NPA rebels ambushed personnel of the Sibalom Antique Municipal Police Station on Wednesday morning. 3 policemen were wounded in the incident. Superintendent Gilbert Guerrero, Western Visayas Police Regional Office spokesperson, said the attack was considered an act of terrorism. Guerrero added that the communist rebels are bent on disrupting and preventing peace and development efforts in Antique to prosper. He added that this armed group remains a threat to peace and development of the province and the entire region. Families of the victims of the Maguindanao massacre welcomed Malacanang's assurance of resolving the case before the end of President Rodrigo Duterte's term. President Duterte met with the kin of the massacre victims at the music room of Malacanang Palace. He vowed to extend his administration's assistance to the families of the victims. At the same time, the president urged the Department of Justice for a speedy trial. The families are hopeful the administration would help expedite the case, especially through its war on drugs. They believe that aside from being rich and powerful, the Ampatuan clan, the principal suspects, were involved in the drug trade and corruption. They revealed that there were attempts to bribe them out, but they stood their ground to pursue the case. The Presidential Task Force on Media Security earlier said the Maguindanao massacre case should be resolved within 4 years. 58 counts of murder were filed against 188 accused. The trial has been running for 8 years. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency welcomed President Rodrigo Duterte's plan to bring back the Philippine National Police in the government's fight against illegal drugs. Duterte made the announcement before the Army Special Operations Command in Fort Magsaysay, Nueva Ecija. He said he might soon return to the PNP the jurisdiction over the anti-illegal drugs war because the drug menace has worsened. However, the president clarified that the PDEA would remain the lead agency for the campaign. PDEA Director General Aaron Aquino said PDEA had desired that PNP will return in the fight against illegal drugs. Aquino said PDEA has repeatedly admitted that it is undermanned, under budget, and under-equipped, thus needing the help of other law enforcement agencies, particularly the PNP. PDEA conducted over 1,500 anti-drug operations, an increase by 8% in the past month, leading to the seizure of illegal drugs worth nearly 62 million pesos. Commission on Elections Commissioner Sheriff Abbas has been appointed as the new COMELEC chairman. President Rodrigo Duterte signed Abbas's appointment papers on Wednesday. Abbas's appointment must be confirmed by the Commission on Appointments. Abbas is a law professor and the nephew of Moro Islamic Liberation Front chief negotiator Mohager Iqbal. He headed the Packing and Shipping Committee as a COMELEC commissioner. He worked as an acting assistant regional director of the Civil Service Commission for the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao until his appointment to the COMELEC from June 2007 until April 2015. Abbas replaced Andres Bautista, who tendered his resignation supposedly effective by the end of the year. He will serve until February 2, 2022, or for what should have been Bautista's remaining term. Still to come, the Philippines is commended for its satisfactory implementation of public-private partnership projects. The province of Benguet aims for the Guinness World Record by performing the longest native Bendian line dance. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
What are you going to do to solve the slow internet in the country? I will give the telecommunications companies a warning that they have to improve the services they provide to our people. And I will give them a deadline. And if they do not meet that deadline, then we will have to do something drastic.
I have ordered the newly created DICT to develop a national broadband plan to accelerate the deployment of fiber optics cables and wireless technologies to improve internet speed.
Matagal-tagal na rin inireklamo natin mga kabayan ang bagal ng internet dito sa ating bansa at sa wakas po ay magkakaroon tayo ng MOA between DICT, BCDA and Facebook Edge at mahalatagan tayo ng mga cables, no? That can carry about 2 terabytes of internet. So kahit paano may ibsan na rin ang problema natin mga kabayan sa bagal ng internet at sa mahal ng internet.
This project is an integral part of the National Broadband Plan, which will enable the government to significantly reduce the cost of the government's internet costs and improve internet speed.
Kung ang telcos ngayon ay meron silang mahigit na 2 terabytes, we are adding another 2 terabytes. So you can just imagine, parang madodoble yung ating capacity ngayon.
Coming through the Philippines and utilizing this bypass infrastructure, we're significantly increasing the diversity and resilience of the global internet infrastructure, and particularly in the Asia-Pacific.
Wi-Fi access shall be provided at no charge in selected public places, including parks, plazas, public libraries, schools, government hospitals, train stations, airports, and seaports.
This project cannot be taken alight or taken for granted. Because if you want connectivity, if you want mobility, if you want information on real time, this is digitalization, this is national broadband, and this is our activity today.
The Asian Development Bank, or ADB, said the Philippines performed well in implementing public-private partnership, or PPP, projects. Based on ADB's PPP monitor, the Philippines had a total of 119 PPP projects since the government enacted the Build, Operate, Transfer Law in 1990. The report showed that these projects were valued at $56.9 billion. The ADB said the country's performance in PPP was led by sound policies of successive administrations. However, the country's infrastructure spending was among the lowest in the Asia-Pacific region, which was only equivalent to an average of 2.2% of gross domestic product from 2011 to 2014. The ADB also noted that foreign ownership restriction of 40% in the country limits local infrastructure development. The current administration targets to boost infrastructure spending to 7% of GDP by 2022. The government is unlikely to achieve the budget deficit ceiling for 2017, with economic managers citing sustained improvement in revenue collections. Data released by the Bureau of Treasury showed that revenues from January to October this year rose by 10% year-on-year to over 2 trillion pesos. Expenditures expanded by 10% to 2.24 trillion as the government ramped up investments in infrastructure in line with its Build program. The deficit rose by 9% to nearly 235 billion pesos. Budget and Management Secretary Benjamin Diokno expects the deficit to rise further since the government still had a lot to purchase in the last 2 months of the year. Among these purchases is the planned acquisition of 24 helicopters, disbursement of state workers' year-end bonus, and payments for government contractors. Diokno is optimistic that the 3% budget gap goal is attainable in 2018 as more infrastructure projects are scheduled to be implemented. The province of Benguet prepares for a shot at the Guinness World Record as it showcased the longest line dance during its foundation day. Here is our report.
Benguet is celebrating its 112th foundation anniversary, which coincided with the 12th Adibay Festival. The highlight of the festival was the Bendian, a traditional Ibaloy community line dance performed after a rice harvest. Governor Crescencio Pacalso said about the 1,200 students from different schools joined the dance, followed by members of the community, including the officials of the 13 municipalities of Benguet. Pacalso hoped that Guinness officials would be able to view the activity and gain interest to come next year. Bendian is an Ibaloy word that means dance of fatigue. It is performed in unison while doing a circle and in keeping up with the tempo of the beating gongs and drums. The dance is continuously done until everyone gets tired and there is no dancer left. Aside from the Bendian, municipalities received their townmates over a feast of boiled native pork meat, boiled kamote, and tapoy, or rice wine. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Abs Abando.
Officials of the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao, led by Governor Mujib Hataman, visited Ground Zero of Marawi City. The regional officials assessed the extent of the damages caused by the war between government forces and local terrorist groups. They also offered a dua or prayer for the people of Marawi in the middle of the main battle area. This was the first time for officials to enter the main battle area after the city has been declared liberated from the terrorist influence. Governor Hataman said he will immediately convene the ARMM officials to further discuss the rehabilitation in Marawi. The regional government earlier allocated 450 million pesos for this year and 930 million in 2018 for the rehabilitation and reconstruction of Marawi. Civilians and police authorities prevented a bombing attempt in what could have been a bloody culmination program of a local festival in Sultan Kudarat. Police and civilian force multipliers discovered the homemade bomb left on a roadside in Barangay Calawag, where people had been gathering for the week-long Kalimudan Festival. Sultan Kudarat Police Provincial Director Police Senior Superintendent Raul Supiter said bomb experts disarmed the improvised explosive device made of black powder, cut nails, and metal sheets with torch as triggering device. He said it was placed by still unidentified men in the middle of parked vehicles near the main entrance of the provincial capital grounds. Supiter lauded the alert civilians tasked to serve as eyes and ears against lawless elements out to disrupt the festival. More soldiers from the Army's 33rd Infantry Battalion had been deployed as the celebration continues until December. Multiple nations will host a single edition of the FIBA Basketball World Cup for the first time in history. The joint bids of the Philippines, Indonesia, and Japan, as well as the bids of Argentina and Uruguay, were named finalists for the hosting rights of the FIBA World Cup. FIBA Secretary General Patrick Baumann said several countries teaming up to host FIBA tournaments have been successful, as in the case of the FIBA Eurobasket, FIBA Afrobasket 2017, and the FIBA AmeriCup 2017. The consortia are to attend the FIBA Central Board meeting on December 9 to pitch their hosting bids. The board will convene afterwards to determine the winning bid. Argentina and the Philippines are the lead nations in the hosting bid. This means the playoffs of the 2023 FIBA World Cup will be held in either of the two nations, depending on which hosting bid will get the FIBA nod. The two solo bidders that made the shortlist, Russia and Turkey, rescinded their hosting rights pitches. Up next, Gabriela Women's Party warns about the rise in cases of crimes and abuse against women. Advocates express hope for lasting peace with a celebration of the Week of Peace in Mindanao. These and more when the PNA Newsroom returns.
Mga akademikong Muslim nagtipon-tipon sa isang forum para sa planong sugpuin ang marahas na extremism sa Mindanao. Alamin ang kanilang napagkasunduan.
Tolerance at coexistence. Ito ang sentro ng turo ng Islam, pero nabibigyan ito ng maling kahulugan. Ito ang tinalakay ni Sheikh Zaid Okfemi, chairperson ng Social Affairs ng Zamboanga Peninsula Ulama Council sa naganap na forum ng mga akademikong Muslim sa Zamboanga City. Ayon kay Okfemi, ang mga ulama o klerikong Muslim sa bansa ay naghayag ng isang fatwa o batas ng Islam na nagdedeklara ng terorismo bilang haram o ipinagbabawal ng Islam. Nagbigay ng mga mungkahi ang mga nagsipagdalo mula sa kampo ng Naval Forces Western Mindanao, ang National Ulama Council of the Philippines, Mindanao Development Authority for Western Mindanao at ng OPAP for Zamboanga, Basilan, Sulu, Tawi-Tawi para maayos ang kamalian. Ang hangad ng Bangsamoro ay ang pangmatagalang pagkamit ng kapayapaan. Nagkasundo ang grupo na kailangan ipatupad ang isang komprehensibong plano para kontrahin ang marahas na ekstremism na nakakaakit sa mga kabataan.
Ako po si Princess Habiba Saripaudak at ito ang Salam News Daily. Abangan din ang iba pa naming kwento at pagtalakay sa aming tradisyon, kultura at relihiyon sa Salam TV tuwing Linggo alas 8:30 ng gabi sa PTV.
A lawmaker called for the public's attention on the rise of abuse against women. With the upcoming celebration of the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women on November 25. Gabriela Women's Party Representative Arlene Brosas expressed alarm over the rising number of crimes against women. She cited a World Health Organization study revealing that the Philippines is among the countries with prevalent cases of intimate partner and non-partner violence. She also highlighted the present humanitarian crisis in Marawi City, wherein women and girls are more vulnerable to gender-based violence. Brosas called on the public to take part in the Labanan ang Abuso campaign to raise awareness in the various forms of violence against women. The Philippines commemorates the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women this year through an 18-day campaign from November 25 to December 12. Mindanao is preparing for the celebration of its Week of Peace, with advocates optimistic that genuine and lasting peace can still be attained. Here is our report.
Peace advocates in Mindanao are not losing hope that genuine peace is still attainable. Kidapawan Diocesan Bishop Jose Colin Bagaforo said he believes that genuine peace is still a big possibility in Mindanao amid rising violence and terrorism. Bishop Bagaforo will lead this year's celebration of Mindanao Week of Peace, which features activities promoting peace and solidarity among Mindanao's Christians, Muslims, and Lumads. The Mindanao Week of Peace starts on November 29 to December 6 with the theme, Owning Mindanao's History for Peace and Development. For the Diocese of Kidapawan, A peace summit to be held at the North Cotabato Provincial Capital Gymnasium will kick off the week-long celebration. Expected to participate are multi-sectoral groups to include local government units, representatives from the military, police, Moro Islamic Liberation Front, and other security sectors. Another activity is the Bike for Peace, which Bishop Bagaforo, a bike enthusiast, will personally lead. Thousands of bike enthusiasts from Kidapawan, Marbel, and Cotabato have expressed desire to participate and share their simple contribution for the attainment of peace in the island. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
A grandchild of the Marcos family is marrying this Saturday with tight security readied for the so-called wedding of the year in Ilocos Norte. Lawyer Ferdinand Richard Michael Marcos Manotoc, the middle child of Ilocos Norte Governor Maria Imelda Marcos, will tie the knot with his longtime girlfriend Karina Amelia Manglapus. Almost 1,000 police personnel, soldiers, and force multipliers will be deployed to the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Paway Church, where the wedding will take place. Police Superintendent Randolph Beniat of the Ilocos Norte Police said that a tight security plan is being prepared to ensure a smooth flow of traffic and crowd control. Expected to attend the traditional Ilocano wedding ceremony are prominent figures from Metro Manila, including President Rodrigo Duterte. Provincial Tourism Officer Ian R. Raquel described the wedding as a showcase of Ilocano rituals with the dalot or entreatment chant and bitor or dropping of money onto plates as highlights of the event. The couple agreed to use the money to be collected from the wedding as additional aid for the ongoing rehabilitation in Marawi City. Dasmariñas City is observing its annual butterfly-inspired Paru-Paro Festival on Sunday, November 26. Mayor Elpidio Barzaga Jr. is expected to lead the annual celebration of the city's official festival, with participants wearing colorful butterfly costumes and revelry motifs. The festival reflects the city's transformation from a former small village of Imo City and its separation as a full-fledged progressive city. Sunday's main highlight is the 3 p.m. Grand Parade, participated in by city officials, sectors, and 36 groups of elementary and secondary school division contingents. Cash prizes at stake for the participating parade contingents, including Best in Costume. This year's celebration will not feature the usual parade of floats due to various road rehabilitation works, which may still stall heavy traffic. Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Let's take another look at today's headlines. President Duterte signs a proclamation terminating peace negotiations with the CPP and PANDF. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency backs plans to return the Philippine National Police to the government's war on illegal drugs. The province of Benguet aims for the Guinness World Record by performing the longest native Bendian line dance. And advocates express hope for lasting peace with the celebration of the Week of Peace in Mindanao. The holidays are coming soon. It's 31 days before Christmas. For more stories, please log on to www.pna.gov.ph or visit the PNA page on Facebook and Twitter. And that's your daily dose of the hottest news and the latest information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm William Theo. Good day.